100% solar, 100%. That's what the battery's at. Wait till I tell you the details behind that. See, we've got 6.62 kiloamp hours coming in through the sun. Nice sunny day out. Battery's at 14.1 volts and 16.5 amps is coming in. But more importantly, 100%. The battery's at 100%. Well, how do we get it 100%, and what are you talking about batteries for? I suspect a lot of you end up being like we are, and that is campers that are sitting at campgrounds. So why would we care about solar or batteries or anything as far as that's concerned? Because we're always plugged in. Well, there's times that we're not plugged in and we're traveling, and there's times that we stop and we stay overnight. Maybe we don't need to run our generator, so I don't have to have the air conditioning, so the generator don't come out, it don't get plugged in. But in the meantime, you know, even though your refrigerator might be running on propane, do you realize it needs electricity to continue to run? Well, yeah, it needs that spark, it needs that igniter to go ahead and click, and that's done with 12-volt power. Same with your stove. Even though you might be cooking on propane, it's got to click. Now, some of them have batteries that, you know, actually go in the igniter themselves right on the stove. One of our past RVs were like that, but in this case, this one don't. And same with a hot water tank. Our hot water tank, if we decide to take a shower, even though it's running on propane, guess how that propane gets ignited? That's right, with a click, and that's done through 12-volt power. Not only that, but this RV has a converter on it, a 1,000 watt converter that will allow us to run a few of the outlets inside, including the ones that are bedside, that allow us to charge our phones. If we had CPAP machines, it would, you know, allow us to run our CPAP machines. That 12-volt power is available to us because of our battery. In our case, we have a couple 190 watt solar panels on the roof that we optioned in when we ordered this thing. That gave us also that 1,000 watt converter. And we have not been, this is going to be funny, we have not had our charge controller that is used to charge your batteries while you're at campgrounds like this. We have not had it plugged in, or let me rephrase that. It's plugged in, but we don't have the fuse on. We've turned the fuse off, the breaker off for it. We haven't had that plugged in for about 2 months now. And the reason is because those 290 watt solar panels that are on the roof are doing just fine. They're doing fine. Now, we started off in Florida. We was in Alabama. We stopped in Kentucky. And since then, we've been in Ohio all this time. And it's been keeping them charged. We run all our lights just like we normally will. You know, we don't think anything about it. All the lights are 12 volt. And we have little LEDs and stuff that we keep on. We have a refrigerator that would have also run on just that 12 volt power, but nonetheless, all the 12 volt accessories that are inside that normally run on batteries, they're not getting any power from the campground. They're all getting it from our battery. Now, in our case, we went a little overkill. I have a 12 volt 200 amp hour lithium ion battery, and it's kind of a monster, and I have never been lower than 80% ever with the RV not being plugged in. And even on cloudy, rainy days, a few in a row, even running a lot of lights and stuff, never had an issue. Never had an issue. So I didn't need to do that. And one of the things that I was running into whenever I was looking at 12 volt batteries in the first place, that were lithium ion, that lithium iron, I should say, that was not really knowing what I could get away with and hearing all the hype. So at different points in time, I have shopped for different brands of batteries. If you want to watch my review, it wasn't that long ago. I did a review on the battery that I bought, but I didn't need to go that big. I didn't need to go that crazy. And there was another brand that was out there that wasn't quite on the market at the time, but now that they are on the market, maybe I should have went with them because they are definitely cheaper and they have a lot of the safety built into it that this one does. So let's talk about what it is and what they have. This is the box that it comes in. This is a traditional 12 volt. You can see not very heavy the way I'm throwing it around. Definitely not as heavy as a regular big 12 volt lead acid battery or deep cycle battery. But this is from a company called UNOWIX, and although it's made in China, they had contacted me, full disclosure, they had contacted me and asked me if I wanted to do some sort of talking points on this thing. The fact that I have a big battery in there now, I thought, you know, this would be kind of nice to add on to that and see how long I could go, you know, see how long we could be not plugged in and what we could use and what we could, you know, how far we could run these batteries down. Now again, with those 190 watt solar panels on the roof, you know, both of those up there getting full sun, I don't know if I'd ever run into a situation where we would necessarily run the batteries down. I guess we could, but I told him, yeah, sure, I wanted to take a look at it, but my main concern was I have a PWM controller inside. It's not an MPPT, and basically the MPPT solar controllers, they are more accurate, they're more finely tuned, they use the batteries correctly, they charge the batteries correctly, they protect the batteries a little bit more. The only way I can use these batteries, this kind of battery that I have here, and the battery that I have in the RV currently, with the solar charge controller that I have, is if the battery has built-in safeties, meaning you can't overcharge it because it will protect itself. You can't charge it when the temperature is too cold, or it will protect itself. Or if it's too hot, it will protect itself. And this battery has all those things in it. So that was the green light all the way across the board for me to know that I could go with this battery and use it with that more inexpensive charge controller that we have, because this has those protections. So let's get it out, take a look at it, and we'll do a little bit more talking about why you want to go with something like this. You can get rid of your 12 volt battery on your RV, and I'll tell you the things you need to look for and what you could be able to be concerned with if you do this conversion. So you see a big white label, 12 volt, 100 amp hour. As far as testing on this and stuff like that, I don't know how much of the 100 amp hour you actually get to use, but it's going to be pretty comparable to all the other ones that are out there that are probably running, you know, $800, $900 for basically the same battery. And I think this one at time of filming has got to be real close to about $400. And I think there's going to be a code maybe in the description you can take a look at that might get you a discount. If not, still feel that you're getting a good deal even at whatever price they're asking at that point, because those other ones, you know, it's just like everything else. Whenever you have a company that is the breakthrough company, and I'll just name it, Battleborn Batteries, or Renogy Batteries. There's a couple other ones out there. You know, they're going to name their price because they are the ones starting out in the market and getting everybody comfortable with what they have to sell by doing some over-engineering. However, you're going to get copies, you're going to get clones, you're going to get people that are going to start coming out with stuff that's a lot cheaper that does the same thing. So this has a battery management system in it. And it does have a high temperature sender in there, or a temperature sensor in general, and the circuitry to know if the temperature is above a certain amount, not to charge it because it needs protected, or if you're freezing, or if you're, you know, real low temperature, it knows to shut off through circuitry the connection to this battery to protect it so you don't charge it, because this won't accept the charge, or it could accept the charge, but it would damage the battery if it's too cold. Now the best part about these batteries, I mean, this is, look at this, one-handed, away from my body. I couldn't do that with a comparable like group 74 or even a group 24 for that matter. It'd be awful tough. Pretty unassuming looking battery. Again, comes with a strap. This is removable if you need to take it off. I don't know why you would. But what you want to look at is a couple things on your RV. Your charge controller that you have in your RV currently, it will work with this battery. This is a take out the lead acid battery, just take it out that you have in your RV now. You can put this one in there, hook it up, and you can start charging it just like you did your other one. Here's the thing, you're not going to get the best performance out of this battery, as it will never get the kind of charge that it necessarily needs. That's because you're most likely, this isn't the way it is with a lot of the newer RVs, but most likely your RV does not have a charge controller that is set up for lithium iron phosphate. It's set up for lead acid. So the charging profile isn't correct. And again, on a newer RV, you're probably going to have one that goes and does both. But the good news is, since it has that protection that's built in inside here, it will allow you to go ahead and throw this thing in there and use it, replace what you have. And why would you want to do that? Well, even if this isn't being charged in the manner that it should with your, let's say, archaic charge controller, you know, a lead acid charging profile, it's still better than a lead acid battery. There's more usable amps in this. You can run this further. It will protect this. And what I mean run it further is you could run your 12-volt lights and stuff longer before this one goes dead, and it doesn't hurt the battery. You know, you can go 80-90% of capacity on this and run it down, and it doesn't hurt it. And there is protection in there for whenever you do those kind of things, that makes it to where it doesn't burn it up or anything like that. So if you're shopping, I want you to use the link that's in the description below. Take a look, see if the price is something that you can deal with. And again, I may have a discount code in the description. I'm not sure. The manufacturer, again, that had sent me this told me that there's a chance that I might, but they have, you know, an introduction that's going on with this battery. They want everybody to be exposed to it and let them know there is another company out there, and they're out to do some business. You know, they're meaning to actually get something out there that people can use. And it's such a nice relief knowing that you don't have to go to that $900 Battleborn battery when this is out there. Now, can you hook? Yeah, you can hook multiple. You could hook a whole bunch of these together and have an incredible battery bank. So you could probably buy a couple of these for what you could for just one Battleborn battery. So I think that this is something that you need to be aware of. I want you to know that you can go lithium ion. You can get rid of your lead acid battery, which is heavier. You have to pay attention to it, make sure it's not going dry. You have to make sure it's vented. I think a lot of travel trailers have them out on the tongue of their travel trailer. You know, if you're worried about it getting stolen, or you want to be protected, or maybe you want to use the tongue of your trailer for a generator mount like we did in the past. If that's the case, you can move this in. You can move this inside your RV. It's safe to do so. Compared to a lead acid, you can't do that. It's got to be vented. So there's so many options that make these better than lead acid, and it's just a matter of if you want to do the conversion. And quite honestly, whenever they're charging, you know, $100, $120 for a good deep cycle battery, I would rather just throw another couple $100 at it and get into a lithium ion and know that I have something that is a better battery that will last longer and takes less maintenance and time and effort to not only haul around because it's lighter, but also for mounting and storing and just using in general. So appreciate it, guys, and as always, we hope to see you out here. Bye.